In the beginning year, this is how I used to travel, with a stick and a piece of leather. And this is how some of you know me in the very beginning. And I stopped bringing the drum and the didgeridoo because I was getting a little too wild. I started to pull back from my wildness because it was scaring some people. So I became more decent. So I would kick people in the chest, slap them, beat them up. And I found out you just can't do that these days. So I pulled back and but when did I stop bringing the drum? 4 years ago? 4 years ago. And the drum has been on a shelf for a long time. Didgeridoo hasn't been used. And I missed it the whole time. And I was hoping that once the people have more trust in me that I'm not out of my head, that I could bring out the drum and the didgeridoo again and get wild again. And that's why I wear this. It's a good front. But what really speaks so much, more than anything, is music. And whether the music is from a drum, or from a didgeridoo, or from a CD, a tape, or orchestra, we are the notes of music. And each of us, as I see, and why I teach the way I teach, is that a song without all the notes is no song. And I have seen very well that each of us is a note. Each of us. And without each of us, there can be no song. And that's how important we all are. And in each note is unique and as a gift to this world. And it's a gift to ourselves. And in communicating with people and communicating with ourselves, we begin to feel our note, begin to feel the presence and the silence and the beauty of our own note. And this is the important thing. Because once we gain a sense of ourselves, who is walking through that door? Who is walking through that door? It doesn't matter how many centuries you've been meditating or how many prayers you have prayed. What matters is who is walking through that door. And this is what this is about. As a young man in my early 20s, I was extremely confused about my life and what is life and my role in life. And I went traveling for the first time. And it was in my first travel that I realized that what life is, whether it is of confusion or clarity, or goodness or complexities or anxiety or whatever, it is the underlining balance that keeps everything in a flowing motion is music, and we are this piece of music. And every now and then, when we find our heart song, we sing it, or it touches us, we know it. We know it. There's no question. It's just a matter of holding it long enough so we don't lose that knowingness. I'm not as proficient with the drums as most Indians. I really don't practice. I don't practice at all, actually. And I never did. But as you know, I don't like to use this word, but I don't believe in practicing. Either you are or you're not. Either you do it or you don't. And yet I know practicing is important too. It is important. But if I'm not in my heart and I play the drum, practice won't do much. But if in my heart I play the drum, it becomes. And this is a drum from Nepal. This is yak hide here, and I stole it off this person. I convinced him that I needed it more than he did. And the story is we're living in Santa Cruz, and around 2 blocks away from me happened to be this merchant. And this merchant did a lot of traveling in the East, the Eastern countries. And I saw that he had this really nice stone, a very unusual stone, a stone that is shamanic. And you could tell how he is, that this guy has a good eye, very good eye. So I got the stone off him. So I know he's got more stuff. And so we became friends. And I said, when you really got something, let me know. And like 4 or 5 months later, called me up. He says, I got a drum for you. So yeah, because he knew I wanted a drum. And he brought over this drum, and no, not quite. He said, well, okay, I got another drum. So he took me to his house, and he had something like 15 drums. And each drum was, no, no, no. And I know he's hiding something. And I says, come on, give me a drum. So he says, okay, all right, but it's mine, but it's not something I'm going to let go. I just want to, So he brought it out, and right away I knew that's my drum. And so it took a lot of negotiations, but he lost. And I got the drum. And it's a beautiful drum. You don't find many drums like this. This is really, it's one piece of wood here, and what they did, they put it in, they steamed it for a very long time, and then so you can see there's 2 pieces of veneer here lapped over, and then it's tied with what you would call it, some kind of bamboo. They tied it here. So it is very unique. And if you'd like to see the drum, you could also play it and handle it. You've heard about going on a voyage, when you traveling. And one of the best ways to travel is with the beat of a drum. And I tend to keep people away from traveling, because what is most important is that you have a good sense of yourself first, good foundation, and then it's much better to travel with. You don't waste time, and it becomes a tremendous value. You begin to recognize value in your traveling. You just don't take glitter or look for the glitter. You go right for the essence. Because people, real traveling, we're doing it right now. We're in a lifetime. This is real traveling. This is the ultimate traveling. You can't beat this traveling. Hard to beat. And to wake up in this traveling, in this lifetime, to be present, that's traveling. And yet, I know sometimes it takes a little bent of the light, another reflection, a different way of looking at it through a dream state or through a vision, so we can look back upon this life to see the value of this life, that this is the real traveling. We've been doing it. We're just waking up in it. But most of you know me enough that when the drum is being played, that you don't have to do any numbers with our personalities. You can just relax and hear the drumming and go into it. The beat is going to be very fast, and there's good reason for it. And just stay with the beat, follow the beat, relax fully, just let your ears be attuned to it, and then let yourself relax and sink. Let yourself sink. down into yourself. And Reiner, maybe we could keep on the microphone. Maybe that could be good too. Just kind of see how it works out. Huh? 4 pictures that you have? 3. Let's take the first picture with the lightning. These are the pictures that we're going to be working on throughout the week. This is the drumming, the sound, the didgeridoo. This is our heart, our voice. This is our note. To light the pilot light, to get our light started, to get that activated, to get ourselves self-ignited. This is the picture with the lightning. To get the 2 sticks rubbing hard enough, strong enough to attract that lightning, to get that pilot light started. As you see, this is the maze of the mind. And what is below our earth, our situations, our labels, our logic, our common sense. And what is above, you can call it the heavens, call it the sky, call it what is above. And to make sense of both worlds, above as below. But somehow there has to be, let's say, contact. And to get this light started, this is what we're going to understand the lightning. And it takes something of a nature activity to activate the lightning bolt inside us. Some of us have already been ignited. And most of us, no, not yet. But to be ignited is not a fun thing. It isn't. It's a hard road. It's very trying. A lot of challenges. New challenges start to come about. And those ones that have been ignited, they're very quiet with it. They have a lot of responsibility and they're very quiet. And that's really what it takes. It's a very quiet revolution, this. And to understand these 2 worlds, the maze and the sky above, and to make sense of both of them, this is my job. In America, there was this American that was struck by lightning, I think 12 times. Actual lightning bolt. And they had him on some show interviewing him because how did he survive so many lightning strikes? And the person said, didn't you think that there was something wrong here? That life was trying to tell you something, or you were jinxed? You know? Did somebody put a curse on you or whatever? Do you ever think about that? He says, oh yes, most definitely. And I began to realize, that once I thought about that, I started to listen, that life is trying to tell me something. And then it was only then that I heard what life was trying to say. And since then, I have not been struck by lightning. I'm not trying to get you to go outside and get to become a conduit to get struck by that kind of lightning. That's dangerous. But the effect is the same. It has a dramatic effect on our lives. And most of us have to self-ignite. Most of us do. And it takes a lot of caring, an awful lot of intent, a lot of bumping into walls, a lot of tripping over ourselves and other people to do it. And to have fun as much as possible along the way. most importantly, to realize that you are that note. And all these years just trying to make sure that you don't put anybody on a pedestal. That's very, very important. To respect people, yes, have respect. But the most important thing is to realize there is no one more important than each of us. Because most of this world is filled with a lack of self-esteem and self-worth. And until we are filled enough with self-worth, and it's a major ingredient, people. It is kind of like it takes so many elements to attract that lightning. The elements have got to be just right to attract that lightning bolt. And the element of self-worth at certain percent has to be there. It's very important. It's got to be there. Otherwise, it can't come down. It can't. It's kind of like we need so much salt to get things activated, or a certain vitamin to get things activated. Otherwise, it just can't work. And to realize that it is your own body is your ashram. Your own self is your ashram. And the world is within you. For I am in your dream, and you are in mine, as we all are in each other. The drum lost its tautness. Too much moisture, and there's a lot of moisture here in Scotland, and so I couldn't go on. But usually it goes on for about 45 minutes, the drumming. But we'll do it. I think it's going to get a little bit warmer here. And this afternoon we're going to do a fire dance. Go right into it. These 3 photographs there's another one. I guess I just forgot to have it printed. I don't know. I don't think it's back there. But these 3, they're crucial to the Bible. You know, that book, that's 75 pictures. How many have the Bible here? That's 75 pictures. Boy, not many. Okay. Yeah, actually, in your possession at home, who received it? Oh, good, most people. Okay. For those people who did not, I'm going to ask that if you could, we'll put some back here, if you could look at them. Look at these pictures here. And this is, these other pictures are going to add, and there's about 100 more that are going to be coming. But the one thing that I found that can help unlock are good pictures once we can understand it. And the contrast, as you can see, between the maze and the sky above is severe, tremendous contrast. And this is us. We are a great contrast, actually, to ourselves and to life. I'll say it again. Who has made me is you. It's you. For without you, I couldn't be. I couldn't know what I know. I could not be here. It's you. One of the greatest secrets. Other people helps to make us. So you could say that I am more grateful. I'm very grateful to you. Because I know what you have done for me. And I thank you very much. And if he could do this with one person, imagine once you understand the pictures, you begin to see how valuable people are, how they could help bring out what is inside you. Because people, there's no way in the world I would know what I know if it wasn't for you. And this is how important you are to me. And once you have that in your eyes, and you can see people like that with your own eyes, and your heart understands that, you'll start to meet people that will start to, let's say, unlock your secrets inside. That will unlock your wisdom inside. That will unlock your knowingness inside that you did not know you had. And that is why I don't seek the blessings of holy people anymore. I seek the blessings, you could say, of ordinary people. For to me, that is where the value is. Holy people are wonderful, and I will always, if I can get a blessing, I will get it. But you know how hard it is to get the blessing of an ordinary person? A real blessing? Because you could say, we're so busy with our professions and our families. We don't give out blessings. They all get, let's say, accumulated inside. They all get kind of put away, that special room. And then when someone crosses our path and really touches us, all of a sudden that room becomes visible, and how easy it is to bless that person. And the blessing, you could say, is amplified. It is just concentrated, highly concentrated. And the purity of the blessing itself is what makes it so valuable. And the rarity of it coming out makes it so valuable. Or when I go out and seek the blessings of let's say, monks or whatever, and you see them blessing, they're yawning, talking to other people, or they're just handing out because they do it all day long. No value. And still, it's not easy to receive, even especially on the first day. It's very difficult. Woke up at 6 o'clock this morning, wanting to go home. All the way from Edinburgh to here, I was looking at the newspaper for some topic to talk about for the next 7 days. And all I could find were people getting murdered, sex, but they don't want to hear about that. There's all kinds of stuff, but I couldn't find anything.
Thank you for not talking about anything.
Funny, in the mind, here's a tree in the maze. It brought something very warm into the maze, the tree emanating. And then here we have the sky above. Here we have three elements. The maze, nature, and above. Call it the invisible, the absolute, the heavens. Call it spirit, whatever it is. Because people try to equate you with my terms, and then you have to translate all this into your own terms. Just because I speak certain words in certain terms, but you may have your own term and definition that runs a lot deeper. The root of that understanding runs a lot deeper than my term. Okay? And if it does, then you have to translate it and stay with your term, your definition. Call it above, call it nature, or call it the mind, or call it spirit. You understand what I mean with this? Throughout this whole week, because the problem is to translate it in a way that your mind can understand it. So it's like me speaking a completely different language to you. And some of the words you're going to understand, and some of the words you're not.
then your job is to translate it. But as you know, most of my terms you've adopted. And that's all right, it's good. But some of the terms are going to be difficult for you to adopt because you've got deeper roots right down into it. So during this whole week, I want you to come to an understanding to use, if that root is deep, continue to use that definition. Any way, any means to establish the depth inside your heart and your mind. Because all we're using are just words and definitions, and it doesn't really carry much. So here we have the tree of nature, how it brought a warmth, how it brought familiarity into the maze. It made the maze more comfortable, didn't it? Like it gave it a little hope, didn't it? More than anything. When you look at it, like, whoa, relief. Relief to the mind. There's like, relief. It's not just something that the mind is familiar with, but the whole system of the root of the tree itself, the root system below, and the root system above. And yet, the nature of it. The root system goes into the mind, and yet the root system is above, the atmosphere above the maze. A hand in each, a foot in each. And this is where we are, right in the center of it. And actually, we're the tree. Right in the middle. You know, there's this, they're just saying in Christianity, Lord, use me as a vessel, use me as a tool, let thy will be done. What is really understood by that? Go ahead, move the strings. What do you want me to do? I'll do it. Go ahead, what do you want me to do? Do we really understand what that means? No. It isn't, in essence, to be used. I'd say, throughout these years, I've talked about how important it is just to watch the fire dance and not just dance in it. I'm not being used. I'm dancing. I'm present in it. But there is a difference between when the personality is there and when the spirit is in there. There's quite a difference. I'm not being used, but thy will is being done. Spontaneity is there. Creativity is there. Presence is there. So I'm not being used, I'm being present in my body, in my movements. And it's a very funny thing. In the beginning, each movement, when you can feel it is like synchronicity in its finest. Each little movement is immense. It's immense with presence. Every little movement is immense. Instead of just moving a finger, there is immenseness. You can just feel it, how much it takes to move. But with presence. And to stay with it in totality, not just with the little fingers and the forefingers, but the toes and the elbow, the shoulder, the head, the glance, the eye. You know, when someone is extremely ill and they don't have much energy left, and they can feel how much it takes just to get up out of bed. They're so exhausted just to sit up, how much energy it really took. Then one can really appreciate how much energy it takes to just to go for a walk, to take a deep breath, to even look at you long enough. And here, it's not a big deal. And to take that extreme and to put this in the form of what presence is. The Lama Delgo Kinsei, who was the initiator to help to shatter my mind, that just changed my life, did it without speaking in one word. And I was at least 50 feet, 175 feet, 100 feet away from him the whole time. And yet, during that whole time, and it took 3 days, that I understood what it was to be the tree, to hold myself as a tree, caught in a predicament between the maze of my mind and the invisible above. And to stand as a tree long enough. In essence, you could say Delgo Kinsei was blowing the didgeridoo right in through the top of my head, and holding myself steady enough until he didn't have to blow the didgeridoo anymore. Because while he was blowing through the top of my head, and really it was the prayers. What did it arise during those 3 days? What pictures arose in my mind? It was all my neuroses, my criticisms, my judgments, my doubt, tremendous doubt. What am I doing here? Traveled thousands of miles. What have I wasted my time? Look at this. That's not good. That's terrible. I'm bored. I'm tired. My back aches. And yet, realizing on the tree, it is my mind. And to have just not forgetting, I have total faith in this man regardless of my pictures, regardless of my mind, on the tree. For there has been many ways and means, many ways of communication and of teachings that have affected us. Not just the fire dance, and not just the 75 pictures and the 4 new ones that will. Now just energetically affecting you, and not just being quiet, affecting you. But something inside you was aroused. Something inside you that you know that the tree, let's say, waking up inside, becoming alive inside. And just having this faith in your own self inside. And just holding that steadiness just long enough. Because the funny thing, before it happened, Mudoko can say, the pictures of doubt and severity were immense. It was like I couldn't take anymore. Like my body wanted to get up and just walk out of the tent. That element of just sticking it out. And following one's heart. And yet it's difficult to put into a sentence, difficult to describe. And yet most of you know it very well already. And most of you are acquainted with that part of you inside. And this is who I speak to. is fire dances. Is for Evelyn. Evelyn is a friend of ours that passed away. And this fire dance is for her. I'm in a terrible position because traveling from country to country and knowing people from all these various countries, I hear about the births of people and the death of people. And so I hear a lot of people that I've known that have passed away. And I'm just in that position, and yet of so many people being born too. And so these two extremes puts one in a position that's not an easy one to deal with, because both affect me a lot. And in some case, you could say I even work harder because that's the case. It's yeah. And in the 6 years that some of us have known each other, most of us are in our 40s, and 50s, and things happen. And because this is so, I haven't had anything like this come across my life since Delgo Kinsei. All the phenomenon stopped. Everything stopped. Nothing happened anymore. And in the last couple of weeks, all of a sudden, almost everywhere I look, magazine, TV or whatever, 1947, 1947, 1947, 1947, 1947, uh-oh, 1947, 1947, uh-oh, something's building up. That's the year I was born. Oh, God. And it all happens to us. But for one thing, is that I still got Evelyn in my pocket. Never forget Evelyn. Never forget the people that I know. What I'm really trying to say, without help, it's difficult to do anything. Without help from above, without help in the business world and family, friends, it's difficult. Very, very difficult. To have friends, it makes a big difference. And we may not be lamas, because the lamas, they have a very wonderful system, and it works. That they can pass away and find each other sometimes. That doesn't always happen, but they can find each other and continue their process. We can also do the same thing. They can also find each other. But there are ways that we can continue to do our own process. Because the tree in time will learn how the winds flow. And the tree in time will know how to make a sail. The tree in time will know about a rudder. And the tree in time becomes the sailor. You sail where you wish to go. The pictures. If you look at all four pictures and see that, to understand why shows the tree as the first picture. But there's different ways to look at this, and it's important that you look at it different ways. Somebody brought this up yesterday, and it is something that you have to consider for yourself, because everybody comes into the situation quite differently. But most people come in through the situation of the tree first, and we'll go over this. Now I'm getting just a little bit of an echo. Maybe it's bass or yeah, a little better. No, there's still a little. Is there a little echo? Yeah, a little bit of it. Hollow. Yeah, there's a hollowness to it. Better. Better. Yeah, good. Did any of you have inclinations as what another picture should be the starting point? Did any of you have that feeling? Yeah? Which one? The lightning. Of the earth. Earth and the... Good. The lightning and the earth and the maze. Anything else as your starting point that you felt was the first one? Anybody? Let's take... which one is that? I can't... Pardon? Lightning, yes. The reason that we're going to start with the tree first is, most human beings live out their lives and never even reach the first picture. What the first picture indicates is that when a person is doing their life, and they have quite a few decades of living their life, and all of a sudden something happens, an experience happens. They don't get a lightning strike. That hasn't reached them yet. It's not within their grasp to realize that exists. But some experience, some phenomenon hit them, and they begin to realize that they are a human being. They have woken up past the label of being the Mr. or the Mrs., that they're this person living in France or Scotland or Ireland or whatever, and they're actually living on a planet. Like they're an organic being. They're just not their name. They're just not their experiences. There's something more. They're living in a world of matter, of molecules, snakes and water and fire and air. They've woken up to that. And that's why the tree is so profound in the center between the sky above and the maze below. They still have this mind and this intellect, and they're realizing both worlds. They can see both worlds, like they are not of both worlds, kind of. And yet they are. But the mind is it's just that and this, and here's this organic tree, which is them, caught in the middle. And it's quite a phenomenon, and they kind of like woken up in it. And as a result, that is when a student begins the process. They're on their path to search that there's something more to life than just living out my life. You take the lightning now, the lightning bolt. This happens to very few people. But when it does, you bypass the stage of the tree, and the lightning comes in and awakens you to that situation. It's just that you have something a little bit extra. The light from above. You have new resources. You're connected differently. Some of us have been hit by lightning here. And we started our path that way. But most human beings start with a tree. Something. And then the path begins. We are that tree, in essence. And one of the best places to recognize a tree is sometime when we have a past experience, something that moved us, something that shifted us. I'm getting an echo again. Maybe it's the speakers are probably okay, but I'm pretty sure it's the room. And whenever that particular experience happened, something experiential, something that really related to us, it completely separates us from the external environment. Completely. Even the mind, to the most part. The most wonderful thing about these pictures is that the maze, you take the maze in the world, the mind is really capable of perceiving the universe. And as you can see in that one picture with the earth and the maze itself, the maze really, in essence, is the intelligence of the universe. And yet the world is like the home, the comfort where we reside. We could say that the earth is our body. That's the tree. There's different ways, many ways to work these pictures. But in essence, the most important thing is the tree. Right? Dead center. because this is where we are really confronted, and this is where it comes in, the internal environment versus the external environment. It was last week, some friends of ours they were outside talking to their neighbor of something like 30, 40 years. And him and his wife were arguing, and they had a bad fight. And the argument was on how to cut the shrubbery. But it was turned into a nasty argument. And so she went inside completely distressed, and he's out there complaining, with this edge more, and he put it down, and there he is complaining, and here are the neighbors listening, and all of a sudden he just falls over and dies. Just like that. Just like that. These friends, they watch this man, and they're students also. And they've heard about this, the phenomenon of 5 days after you pass away, now what are you going to do? They contemplated this for quite some time, and he was saying that they were hoping this is not the case. Like, get up. He didn't get up. And they didn't know what to do, and everybody was helpless. It was one of those things that it was just a complete and total death. And here they are now, the tree, witnessing the tree in existence. Witnessing the living process of the tree in existence, of the tree of one phenomenon, internal environment, versus that external environment. And just now that this tree is really closer to seeing what that external environment really is, it always has been. It's just that the phenomenon of this world, and of the labels, again, what blinds us is our labels. What blinds us is our expectations, our stories, our dreams, our hopes, our wants, our desires, all that. That's what really blinds us. And to get past this is the difficult part. Don't forget, it's always in front of you. It's difficult to perceive it, because what do you want to see versus what is really there? Is it really St. Andrews, or is it just a lot of stone with a lot of history? What's behind it? Is it really your friend, or is it the kind of friend you want? Who is there behind it? And this is what the tree is up against. To see that phenomenon past our own pictures. To see it through life's eyes and not just through our eyes. So here are the two friends in this very unusual predicament. Totally helpless. And this is what hurt them so much. This is what affected them so much, that they were totally helpless. Nothing. And yet they're witnessing it. And they're remembering all the teachings as fast as possible. But what struck them most was the reality of it, and they couldn't really deal with the reality. It put them more into shock for days. They were stunned. And yet they thought they could handle it. They thought they knew what it was about. Contemplating it, going through it, looking at it. And yet they realized they couldn't handle it. And yet it was so American, the whole thing. Another Sunday, and it was a nice blue sky, argument about cutting, how to cut the shrubbery and such. And yet that bridge, a very, very fine bridge. And this is what takes us back that people, we are on the journey. We're already on it. We have already arrived. This is the most beautiful thing. We have already arrived. Nowhere to go. The tree has made it. We already have arrived. But our pain, our arguments, the expectations, the lack of hope, the hurt, we ride on those stories. We're riding on those waves. And they have become so much a part of our lives that what else is there? This brings us right back down to the tree. We are alive already. We've done it. We have arrived. Yes.
Yeah. Based on what you just said, the way I saw the photographs was the circle, with the tree as the end point,
Yes.
as well as the starting point.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. It is a circle. That's right. There's no beginning and there's no end. It is. No beginning and there's no end. See, the journey is because of our pain. Call it our ignorance, our expectations. Yeah, very good. Yeah, it's the tree has always been there. Always will, always.
Could you talk about guilt from a Western perspective?
Guilt?
Guilt, yeah.
It's a very broad subject. Where are you coming from with that? Political?
No.
Family? Self?
Self.
Self-guilt. Oh, that's your problem. Yeah. What did you do? That's what we like to hear. How do we get off on that? Come on.
I accepted some lilies that I don't know, I just took it that they were for me, you know.
Yeah. In essence, guilt is good. Guilt is extremely healthy, actually. Without guilt, we're in trouble. We are in terrible trouble. Without remorse, we're in trouble. Without some feeling of anything that makes us feel uncomfortable, uneasy about ourselves, it's a wonderful sign. Fear, appropriate fear, is wonderful. And once we start to understand that what is appropriate and inappropriate, and we begin to have the discretion between both systems, and then we can easily say this goes like inappropriate guilt, and yet this is appropriate guilt. And then we start to use it and work with it and not turn our eyes from it. Then we can start to grow with it because it helps us to grow what is appropriate guilt. But you kind of have to take it out of the context, basically of the religious context, because most people have distorted it, a little too much, too much weeping with it. And your job is to make it healthy guilt, clean it up, make it more contemporary. And so the tree. We are the tree, each of us. And people, when you look at this tree, you don't look at it as with mine, or let's say with the picture of me. It's your life. It is that extreme. The phenomenon is that amazing. Again, when these two neighbors saw this man who died in anger, who died in not feeling good about himself, that it's always right there, the phenomenon of the tree, the sky above, and the phenomenon of the maze below. And not to forget it. And this is what we have been doing over the years, to hold our intent, to take our lives more seriously and yet with a lot more humor at the same time. And in essence, waking up so we become, let's say, more present throughout the day, so we can hold it. So when situations like this happen, we're just always right there. We don't know. We're not shocked by it. We're living it. And not to go into shock with it. Because so many people, they go into shock with little things that they do throughout the day. They go into shock. They lose their intent. They lose their perspective. They lose their consciousness. They lose their presence. They go away. Little mini shocks throughout the whole day. Not wanting to look at it, to see it, to perceive it, to deal with it. Little shocks. And that's nothing really more than actually this person dying, just that this is a very complete and final shock. The shock of losing the perspective, is it to actually leave the life in argument with another human being? Is it worth it? Is the price worth it? For that door, under the circumstances, the person will continue on. And the person just doesn't all of a sudden become an angel, totally enlightened after death, and say, oh, I'm totally free. No. The person continues that process. As you walk through the door, so you are in the next. Again, who is walking through the door at the moment? And how you walk in. It is just not in the morning, just not going into your sleep. It's throughout the whole day. Because the reality of the tree and the phenomenon of what is above the tree and what is below the mind and what has made the tree. Again, David made a very good point. There's really no beginning and no end. It is a circle. The tree always was and always will be. And what binds? What is a glue that holds this tree together between all this? It's love. Love is the glue that binds everything together. And one of the most interesting things is what is my proof that I will always exist? And the existence is your birth, and that you are alive in some time, in some place.
And it's really impossible for us to be alive in some place and in some time. I'm not getting at the subject, I'm just staying with your question. And if that is possible, if life made this possible, which took something that is completely impossible, it's really impossible for life to exist, actually. Totally impossible for the elements to really come together, to be just right for the sun to be at a certain distance, and water and fire and air, and then and for us to reach this stage without blowing ourselves up. For the dinosaurs, hell, what do they live for? How many billions of years? They've only been here a short time. But it happened. It happened. It's not believing it, it's realizing it. That's the hard part, realizing it. And then that is what gives the tree, let's say the water, that's what gives the tree, where it finds its nutriments for the tree to be healthy. And once a tree reaches a certain stage, a certain year of living in existence, and it's gone through all the stages of adolescence and everything else, and it's settling down, realizing the time that it's in. Where I came from, and where I will go. A tree that sits for 500 years or 60 years. I am. Yeah. There's no end. You can't get away from it. That pissed me off. When I realized that there was no end, it totally got me angry inside. So I wanted an end. That meant an end to my neuroses. But there's no end. And if there's no end, whether a lightning does come down and hits us and whatever, and the days will go on as the lives will go on, no beginning and no end. If that's the case, how do you want to do it? The Buddhists have a wonderful way. Dreams are dreams are dreams are dreams. And lives are lives and lives are just lives. But if you're going to dream, and if you're going to live and go through your lives, why not do it the best you can? Well, very good. Dreams are just dreams, but if you're going to have dreams, have good dreams. And lives are wonderful, but if you're going to have lives, why not make it wonderful? It's very simple. Okay. But that's not the point. That's not the point. Question?
No, I was just going to say that I just realised I felt quite angry when you said that after death you don't suddenly become enlightened. I thought death was a kind of, I thought somehow after death that there would be something that would make sense of it all.
Oh yes, and it does. You will. After one passes away, one sees the complete and the whole. You travel and you will see the total, complete, and the whole. From a religious point of view, you will see the glory of life. You will see the glory of God. That, yes. You will live it, you will breathe it, you will be of it. Count to 3. And adios. God, I can't hold it. Jesus. What was that in my pocket? What to do to hold it, as you're being pulled away. Yeah. And that's the washing machine. Yeah. That's when we go for that's why we come out, we come back so in such a wonderful shape, smiling and happy. We get washed. Huh?
Why is it we don't remember? I mean, I know
We
some
do.
people
Children remember. Most children really remember, but it's so ordinary. It is so ordinary. You know those
call it, whether it is a religious experience, spiritual experience, vision, or whatever, have you noticed how ordinary it is when you're in it? It's so ordinary. It's like, no big deal. Just keep walking on, and after you're out of it, it's a big deal. Huh? It's so ordinary. It's so us. It's pathetic. Right? And this is that the neighbor's watching the neighbor pass away. It's so ordinary, and yet it's not. Right? And this is where we contemplate the tree. It's a phenomenon. Don't forget this. We're living in a phenomenon. A most beautiful, beautiful world. And yet it goes. We go.
With the picture of the tree, there's like a courage with the actual picture, but there's also seems to be like poignancy, just a feeling of almost a sadness of it.
Yeah, your word of courage is very good. It is true. It takes a lot of courage to realize that, to realize, to be like a human being first of all, and to get past the label of being a Scotswoman or a Scotsman, or, getting past all those labels and to see it from a nature point of view. Remember that story I talked about in Los Alamos, New Mexico? One of the scientists, when they were studying and discovering the subatomic world, the atoms, and this one scientist, when they really realized that everything's made of atoms, and in between the atoms there's all this space, and there's nothing but space actually, that he built had this shoe man design these big shoes that were much bigger so he wouldn't fall through the atoms or the holes. He was so involved in it. Yeah. And this is really what it takes to realize the tree. And it takes a lot of courage to hold that space. And it's scary. It's not something that is, it may be delightful for a few moments, but it can be a very scary thing. You can induce some appropriate fear, and that's appropriate fear. Yeah. Why is a tree in the maze? What it represents, the maze is the mind, intelligence. 1 plus 1 is 2, and what does this mean? 1 plus 1 is, what does it do for me to know this? It's communication, speech, red door, black door, things you like, and intelligence. And we need intelligence, we found out. Otherwise, nature, how the world of the nature, how going to live with the animals, it can be fun for a while. And it's nice when you're young, you can do it real easy. You can go out and camp all the time. But when you get older, camping doesn't work like it used to. That's a good way to describe it, if you understand what I'm saying. Go out camping with my sons and I can't take it anymore. That's why I put the maze in the tree. And if I could put a bed on top of the maze, it would be better for me. No, we'll explain later.
Was the bit between the maze and this light in the sky, is that the gap?
Is that the gap?
Yeah.
All right. You can't hear back here. It's a question. The question was that you're talking about the light in between the maze and the. No, that was just really nothing but reflection of light coming from above.
No, this black bit, is that the gap?
No, but that, in essence, you could put that as a gap. Yeah. No, I haven't put the gap in this yet. Yeah. But yes, the gap is there. But the gap is actually, it's actually self-evident. Is because it's really between the tree and the maze. Between the tree and the sky. Where the tree itself, you could say the form of the tree is the gap. It's so extreme. The contrast is so extreme between the tree and here is this strange, tremendous, colossal maze and the sky, and so you could see there's a gap in there. So I left it as that. Yes.
Before you were saying about the difference, you could be saying the same thing, but it depends where you're coming from.
Yeah, the question is, depends on where you're coming from with all four.
No, before you were saying about differences with Andrea, she could be saying the same thing as you, but people would react
Right.
differently.
Uh-huh.
Could you sort of
I'll go back to that question about where my words are coming from. Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about this, and because we want to keep it in relationship to the tree. Take the tree. Imagine looking at this tree, actually more from a scientist, an astronaut, a physicist, a biologist, neurologist, a husband, a housewife, a teacher, whatever. And you're speaking from this point of view about life. Where are your words coming from? How would your word be displayed? How would the effects be on your audience, the people you're talking to? Versus just a picture of a person, in any place, downtown, and you're taking a picture, and you can see somebody's talking to this person. Where would the effects of this person coming from a picture from somebody downtown just talking to somebody versus coming from this point of view? And the human being is there, which is the tree, speaking from that point of view. You can see that where let's say the thoughts, the feelings are coming from a different perspective. This is what I mean. Clear? Yeah. Right? That's why in contemplating this, it's important to understand and use great contrast. We need strong contrast to help us. And this has very strong contrast. It's not something that blends in real easy with pictures that we are normally used to. So that's why I use strong contrast. Yes.
For me, it's a wonderful image of the tree. Because I think at the end of the cycle, it represents compassion. It invokes very powerful compassion in this image.
Yeah.
When we realize we are the tree,
Yeah.
and what that means, what that must involve. And funny, in my own work, often I've invoked an inner metaphor that's like this image, in terms of when we realize, as you say, we're between our ears, or we're the garden, and this is the tree. And just invokes very powerful compassion.
Yeah. Going back to the light coming from above down into the maze. The light coming from above is always coming from above. Always. Always coming from above. And this brings it back down
that once we really realize what's going on, that the tree is living in this world of nature and this phenomenon, God, there is a lot of compassion. A lot of compassion. Tremendous courage. And to be a human being, it takes a tremendous amount of courage. Whether we are born in a desert with famine, or born in a very wealthy country, there's a tremendous amount of courage that it takes for a human being to be. And then to start to see it, to see the tree in this world of phenomenon, and then to see that the compassion that, in essence, of this internal environment, with the harshness of the elements, there is, you could say, hope until we don't need it anymore. And you can say compassion is there even until we don't need it anymore. Because the light coming from above has always been there. I went searching for you afar. I have traveled thousands and thousands of miles, seeking your name, seeking to touch you. I have searched from page to page. I have looked behind my thoughts and looked under my shoes. And one day I found you were always there. I was never alone, never deserted. I was never rejected. Whether I was deep in my sleep, or whether my veins were filled with hopelessness, I realized you were always there. But the further away we are from this, realizing this tree, realizing this light from above, there was this couple staying with us at our house, and this couple, they have a newborn child, and the baby is about 3 months old. And the mother, the baby's sitting up and scooting all over the place, and I saw the mother go out the back door real quick, and the baby was turned around and playing, and the child noticed immediately the mother is gone from the room, freaked out, turned around, freaked out. Where are you? Just freaked out. And this is very much like us. When we are away from our own selves, from the spirit of our own selves, we get insecure. We freak out. Same thing. Then we think we're lost. Then we have to go find ourselves once again in the maze of life.
Is that the process?
That's the process. That's the process. Yeah. If we could realize, got it. If we could realize the process, don't have to do the process. It's true. Some of you have the intellect, some of you have the know-how to transcend the process. Just that quick. To take it and put it into perspective, into a better perspective, into more a realistic perspective, you already have arrived. But I got this pain, but this person did this to me, but
I want to cut the edge this way, and she wants it done this way. Okay. But I did that last year this way. I mean, it's my turn to do it this way. Okay. But I'm the one who puts gas in this edger. She doesn't do this. I have to take care of it. Okay. Outside is my property. Inside is her property. Okay. She doesn't know where I'm coming from. Okay. I'm not understood. Okay. She doesn't respect me. Okay. My feelings are hurt. Okay. Bye. Teaching and
Yeah, this picture with somebody was going down to a tree,
a well.
a well, yeah, and it was the bottomless which was sinking, and there was no point going in.
The cartoon.
And
Oh,
it
yeah, the
was going
cartoon.
Because there was no point anywhere.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah.
Like
Oh,
that.
it's forget it. Yeah, but that's true. Yeah. Same thing. Yeah, bottomless. Yeah. Let's take a coffee. All right.
Are we in England?
I can't believe it. I heard it.